healing, dreaming, believing, manifesting, pivoting. Welcome to Pivot's Pulse Podcast.
Welcome to Pivot's Pulse Podcast. I'm Lynne Penleone, Executive Director. We're going to be talking today to Melissa Smith. She's our newest member of our team. She's an integrative therapist and a somatic practitioner, as well as a yoga therapy practitioner. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Lynne. Such a pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So I've spent most of my professional career in wellness spaces, which have varied from physicians' offices to spa environments. And I've spent the majority of that time in leadership roles. So big focus on team dynamics and daily operations. During that time, at the latter end of my career, the last decade, drove me towards yoga, which then opened up a whole door as far as practicing somatics and really that mind-body connection. So that's where I've spent the last 10 years of my career.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about with your work as an executive coach, a little bit about the work that you've done within organizations?
So I think when we think about executive coaching, the most important piece for me is that we're offering inquiry. We're not really telling executives or a company how to run. We start with just that gentle inquiry of, hey, what's not working? What are you looking to expand or put a stop to? And once you kind of get to those questions, it allows them that time for self-reflection. And then you can come up with an objective opinion on how to pivot. When you think about, okay, well, what do I get out of executive coaching? It's building better team dynamics. It's being able to hold yourself steady and keep that brand vision steady while you're making changes, whether that's growth or starting into a new avenue of business, and the communication factor.
Communication is usually like the number one thing. I know when I did a lot of consulting with organizations, with the federal government, the communication seemed to be number one, and it was the number one thing that tended to affect, employees' morale. And many people said that they would rather be able to communicate and be respected in the workplace rather than get a raise or some type of bonus. Is that something that you found?
Exactly what I've seen, where employees, specifically in periods of growth or transition within a company, employees will often feel ignored and undervalued. The overall mission of the company isn't being effectively communicated so that everyone feels like they're contributing to that mission.
Because everybody wants to be part of something that's moving forward instead of, just being somebody who's working there, being part of that team.
Agreed. Yeah. To act like we're spending the majority of our life at our job. And so we've moved out of that just clock in, clock out space. If you're going to be there with spending the majority of your time there, it only makes sense that you want to feel like you're valued and that you're part of that vision. So if we're missing the communication piece or that team flow, it's really affects how you feel as a human being.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Melissa, can you talk about with any of the organizations that you work with? Can you talk about one of the more challenging organizations that maybe you've worked with?
So I've done a lot of work with startup companies, companies who are either just getting started or they're expanding into a new arena. That has been the most challenging to work through executive coaching. again, a lot of times the brand or mission has maybe changed a little bit since the employees were first hired. And as we bring in new employees, the employees who've been there don't feel like their loyalty is being valued. There could be pay discrepancy, there could be favoritism, but that's usually the biggest shift I see, where leadership and the team start to kind of almost have like separate teams, right? It's like a side instead of one cohesive mission.
Yeah, so I see where communication breakdown could happen with that. I could definitely see where, there would end up being some isolation as well.
Or losing good employees. And not that we can take everybody with us as we grow and pivot within an organization. Sometimes it's time for somebody to go. So it's kind of that, weighing out your options here. Can I be a better communicator? Can I change my leadership style to something more effective so I can retain these employees?
Now, with your somatic work, can you tell me what forms that takes?
So when I think about somatics, I think about building that bridge between the mind-body connection. And I don't think a lot of us, just because of our conditioning and the fast pace we live in, really even understand how to tune into the body, checking off task after task. But at the end of the night, maybe you have a headache, or maybe you're getting headaches more frequently. And these little physical symptoms that we kind of write off as one-offs become louder and louder. So somatics is that tool to bring you back and have that bridge be more firm. So we begin to understand, oh, this sensation is telling me something. And we do that through breath work, gentle movement, grounding exercises, scanning the body and just looking, from head to toe. Hey, where are you noticing some sensation? What is that?
How would you combine that with the yoga practices that you currently are doing?
One of the things I do with the trauma-informed background is offer cues as an invitation. Again, more of that questioning than a command. Or really, when I'm teaching yoga, I usually preface any practice with pay attention to sensation, not shape. And that is what somatics is. So yoga pose could look totally different than yours. And that doesn't mean one of us is right or wrong. It means there's a sensation in my body saying, hey, that's my edge, which could be different than yours.
The trauma is stored in the body. Have you had the experience that, when you're working with somebody doing yoga and the sensation comes up, that also blocked memory comes up at the same time?
I have a lot of the practices that I kind of prefer to teach at this point are the ones where you hold things longer. So restorative or yin, where you're getting underneath the muscle into that fascial network, which is the body's internet. So I've certainly had students become emotional, and I do try to, again, offer that leadership in the beginning, that whatever you're feeling, emotions can rise up, especially if we're working on the hips, right? And the object here isn't to resist them. It's not to label this good or bad. It's just to notice it without merging into it.
Are you also working with the chakra centers?
Yeah, so that's my favorite part of yoga, is that we really are working with that energetic layer of the body. So I use the 7 chakra system, crown to root, and provide guidance during poses that, hey, this is going to affect your heart chakra, or this is going to affect your, solar plexus. And here's what that could look like.
Right. So as the practitioner, it really gives you a lot of insight as to what the trauma really could be about.
And it's so important because, again, it's your energetics. It's that whole layer of the body.
Right. And have you found too that, once you have that insight, you're able to educate your client at the same time?
Yeah, it's one of the things I really enjoy doing in all coaching, is just kind of introducing them to, this is how your chakras work. Here's how balance feels. Here's what imbalance feels like in that chakra. And not that it's broken or shut down, it's just imbalanced. And so we find the tools to bring balance back.
So I really see this as a way of kind of fast tracking into being able to connect back to your body. Because when a person's experienced trauma, one of the first things that happens is they cut this off. You know, you go straight up in your head so that you're not experiencing what has happened in your body.
It is safe to be still. It is safe to rest. It is safe to notice these things that maybe you buried or put on a shelf, and not to drown in it, right? If our emotions are an ocean, we can surf the waves. We don't have to let ourselves be pulled under by it.
And much like many of the other modalities that we, use here at Pivots, these modalities that you bring are so very important in the healing process. So I'm very excited, and I would love to bring up and promote how you're going to be starting doing the Monday movement with Melissa, starting on August 17th at 7 o'clock. So can you tell us a little bit about that, like what you'll be doing?
So it's a 30-minute practice, and it's all levels friendly. You don't need any specific props. There's always items from home we can use. But the point of the exercise is shake off your Monday a little bit. Let's get rid of whatever energy we carry down onto the mat or onto the ground that evening. And then to start to build that connection, to build the foundation of mind and body through movement, through breath, and really try to fall in love with your body again, right? That there's nothing inaccessible. It doesn't matter if you're in good shape or bad shape, if you feel inflexible, we can move our bodies in ways that build strength and also that resilience for the nervous system, right? That even if everything's on fire around us, that we're okay. We have that sovereignty and can say, wow, this is a lot, but I'm good. I have myself here.
Beautiful. That's really great. That's great. And that'll go for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The way that if anybody's interested in signing up for that, you just need to go to our website, www.pivotspotentialllc.com, and go to our contact page and fill out the form there, and it'll come straight to us, and then we can get you registered for Melissa's 4-week program. And if you, again, have any other questions, you can fill out the message box and we'll be happy to get back with you so we can get you registered and answer any questions that you have. Is there anything in addition that you'd like to add, Melissa?
I just want to say that knowing some of the work you do, where you're building these new neural pathways and holding that safe container before we even start to address those stories and underlying sensations, it's so amazing to get to be part of this with you, because the work I do really complements that work. It's, again, that safe container, we're shining the light in those dark spaces and just helping people build their toolboxes.
Yeah, one of the things that I love to say is my job is for you not to need me, because we want to build resilience. We want to build independence, and to be able to allow a person to move on in their life. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being with me today for this episode of Pivot's Pulse podcast. And we hope that you come and join us again for our next time. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again.